That's me.
Yeah, give me a second.
I can't find the special one.
Hello,
It
folks.
says go. It says go.
Let's go. We're
Oh,
going. We're going.
We're live.
I'm just doing a bit of a pre-show before my other show later.
Well, I'm
And
not complaining.
I thought we'd go down the road of what FDDA is. For anyone that didn't know, it's an award that's going to be presented to a fair dinkum drongo by the end of the year. And I used rockets in the background as a launch metaphor for today.
Can you? Oh, is there such thing as a fair dinkum drongo though? In Australia,
Well,
is there?
you can use the phrase that in that way because it's saying that they're a true drongo.
All right, I reckon it just sounds better if you just have drongo, like drongo of the month or drongo of the year or whatever it is you're going to be doing. Just plain drongo.
Well, I need to get more opinions off us Aussies to actually verify.
I haven't heard that for ages, Terry.
What fair dinkum drongo
Drongo. Yeah.
Drongo.
or drongo?
Yeah.
Well, you have now.
Well,
I've heard more Australians actually using the word for masturbating quite a lot, beginning with W. Mostly.
oh, that's pretty common.
You mean watering the lawn?
Feeding the chooks.
Bashing the bishop.
So,
Yeah, we use the W word quite a lot in the UK, so it's pretty.
One thing
Reckon-
I have noticed is that 50 years ago in the UK, the C word was never used.
No, well, I
And-
don't think it existed then, did it?
Pardon?
It probably didn't even exist then, did it? It's more of a modern word, isn't it? The C word.
Ah, the word was around. It just wasn't used
Was
in language.
of
Not
course
even-
it was around.
And not
Was
even in the rough parts of town was it used. But now, when I was talking to my cousins the other night, it was every second word was C word.
Well, that's what happens when you get a new word. You use it.
Yeah, but you've got to put the F word before the C word most of the time, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, you could put dumb, stupid.
Not
Yeah,
no,
in
not
front-
not if you're talking about your Class A military cap. It's just a C word. That's it.
Okay.
The C
Well,
cap.
no, wouldn't that be colonel or major?
No, it would not. It would be the C word cap.
Yeah.
Look it up.
But it was never used. It was like
Yes, it was.
forbidden in
Oh,
where I
it was
was.
used.
Anyway.
Oh, maybe not the states then.
That was the official name of the cap. Sorry.
Was it? Wow, I never knew that.
Yep.
Never knew
Go
that.
and see the C word. You're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay. Never knew that.
Mippet said, all you boys without supervision today on the panel.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, I try to supervise. I don't have to bring the whip out, do I?
You need supervising to get your streams to actually start on time, though, Terry.
But that's my thing.
It's your thing, is it, to be late?
Yeah. So we're going to have to nut out. I've been nutting it out with a few people about these awards. Somebody's coming up with a bit of a media presentation of a graphical representation of what they could be. Somebody else could do a laser print, not a laser print, a 3D printing of an award type thing. We could just have somebody's name on it at the end.
How are you going to give it to them? You're going to send it to them?
Yeah. Oh, they can pick it up.
Come all the way to Australia.
Doxing.
No, we'd meet in a neutral place.
Well, you don't necessarily have to. You just sort of say you can. What you can do is you can have like a little collection on I don't know, on a shelf or something, and you can have a little label. Whoever actually wins it each time, maybe, just in your house, Terry, and you can take a photograph each time it happens with them all there and the latest winner all lined up on the shelf, and sort of like I don't know, with a little sign saying something like, "If you want your reward, come and get it." You know.
But
Could be your backdrop for the year, Terry.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
put that in the
Could do that
suggestion
one,
box.
maybe. Okay.
The other problem we're going to have is the criteria of the person.
Yeah, you remember I was saying last night. It's then that a couple of things that people were sort of saying, oh, we would do it outside of kind of like YouTube and chats and all the rest of it as well. Is that gets kind of a bit messy. So I think anybody that's been on chat or Discord or on YouTube or said stupid stuff that's common and known as a flat earther.
What about Peck?
Or Peck, yeah, whatever, whoever, doesn't really matter, doesn't it? Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be a flat earther necessarily. Yeah, so anybody like that you think is a drongo.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
why I
include
thought
them.
the word drongo could just mean anyone then. It's not.
Yeah. But then again, as well, without instead of like trying to compete also with DFOTY.
That's
maybe
what I didn't want to do.
include-
I didn't want to. I didn't want to use any of their.
top 10, yeah. Don't use the top 10.
I don't want
that
to
would,
use anything that they use.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not-
you kind of it's the idea is still the same.
Well, yeah, the idea is the same, but it's kind of like another sort of like generation, isn't it?
Well, this is the Australian version.
Mm.
Like every country has their version of something. Like Celebrity Get Me Out of Here, or that house show where they all live in a house,
Well,
and things like that. We all have our own versions.
mm.
And also as well, I mean, do you want to? What about nominating a panel like they did with Team? You sort of got a panel, decide on and then each person gets one nomination or something. Do you want to work it that way, or?
Well,
or
I
you
didn't
just
even
wanna
watch. I didn't even watch that episode of how they actually did it for the final.
Yeah, November.
Final
Yeah, in November.
show.
What they did. Yeah, what they did was you'd have panel members could be put forward, and then I think they had to be then seconded. They had to be agreed, and then everybody agreed or not disagreed whether that person would be on the panel or not. And then once they agreed on the panel, obviously it was 10 of them. Each panel member had a nomination of who they think should be DFOTY. That's pretty much the gist of it, more or less.
Yeah,
Got the details.
Mr. Sensible did the Cheese Awards last year, so he had his own version.
Yeah. He decided, and then decided their nominations were, and then these viewers voted.
Okay.
The Prawn Awards. I don't know.
I can't change the name now, Quasar.
Oh, okay. All right.
We could change the name for next year if we have to.
Oh, no, you
No,
keep
consistent.
Oh,
going.
the raw prawn
But-
award.
Yeah, the Drongo, like I don't think many Australians these days would actually get that. Well, us oldies would, but
Well, we could put up a disclaimer. You drongo.
hey, you settle down.
Hey, Quasar, it's mainly us oldies that are here, isn't it?
Mm.
Speak for yourself. I'm not old.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, we had children on.
Well, hang on. Casual's older than me, so therefore you are.
Oh, well, you're a toddler
Okay.
then.
I don't
Well,
care.
that's all
I'm
right.
not.
I don't mind that.
You're
But
an
I was
embryo,
I
Davros.
was born before Voyager, so
I was born I was born during Apollo, but before Apollo 11.
did you ask him permission?
Do we,
No, I don't think.
are we allowed to use globies as well as flat earthers? Like anybody in the conspiracy, or anyone that's on
Yeah, why not?
YouTube,
Yeah.
or
Why not? Yeah. I think so.
Um,
Who
Why
are you
not?
thinking? Who are you thinking of? That's a globie. That's conspiratorial.
Yeah, well, can think of one, and it's already been mentioned. Quasar, not you, Quasar, but Quasar, you've already mentioned the word. Sorry, as well, man.
I was just about to text Terry about something. But I won't have to.
You freaking nominate me if you want. I don't
No,
care.
no. I mean, I say stupid things myself too, but
Don't we all? Yeah, but it's how regularly you say stupid things. But we know one in particular that says all, right, at least
we
bullshit
should
quite
have one
regularly.
for the most outlandish story. Fuck.
Yeah,
Heck.
well, we know that's going to be Peck. Mentioning no names, Peck.
What?
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 I
What?
heard nothing. I hear nothing.
Cypher Zero, if you'd like a Discord invite, I'd have to be able to find you on Discord.
He's
Cypher
an
Zero.
Aussie. He's an Aussie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He is the owner of the channel NASA Black Site 69.
He's already been in here. That same name.
Yeah. So
Has
yeah.
he got
So,
a sock account?
no. So Cypher Zero's his Discord name, but NASA Black Site's his actual YouTube channel.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So you'll see him on, but because both of them are Google accounts, right? He'll be doing one off his phone, one off his computer to give you extra views.
Does that mean he
'Cause
wants?
that's-
That means he gets two spanners.
All right, so
No, you only let one spanner.
Shift.
he's actually got two. He's actually got two YouTube accounts then, because I've just
Yeah.
clicked on his channel and he's got his
How
Cypher
did he get
Zero.
a spanner? I didn't give him a spanner.
He hasn't got a spanner.
He's got one now, but I didn't give it to him.
Who gave the spanner then?
I didn't touch anything for a spanner, did I? Oh, I must
You
have.
must have.
I must have without thinking about it. Sorry.
Yes.
And so I can't. So the only thing I clicked on was go to channel. Was the
I
only thing
probably
clicked
did it
on.
not even realising I'd done it.
Yeah. Because NASA Black Site Area 69 is basically a community group that's building to start a how can I say an anti-conspiratorial.
How about I leave
okay.
the NASA one without a spanner, give Cypher the spanner, so if the NASA one says anything they shouldn't, Cypher can time him out.
Kick himself.
Yeah, there you go. So which Discord Cypher can I find you in?
Well, NASA Black Site Area 69 hasn't got any content yet.
No, we haven't launched yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're involved then.
I showed you the picture.
Oh, you did actually, right enough. Yeah, earlier on in the yeah. I wonder what that was. Yeah.
See, told you.
Ah,
See.
that's interesting. Then, can you go into a little bit more detail what it's about then? A little bit more
Oh,
detail.
not. Well, see, it's Black Site, mate.
Which Discord's he in so I can find him?
Oh, pardon me. Sounds quite interesting actually.
Wasn't he already in this one?
Not that
No.
I know of. Well, he's asked for the
No.
link. He's asked for an invite. Oh, he can't be in here.
Well, but he said young blood needed. Doesn't necessarily mean him. No, I'm only joking. Of course it does.
No, he's the plan is to hit the flat Earth where it hurts.
So what have you organised so far?
What do you mean?
Said you've helped launch something.
Yeah, so we started off with the Discord, right? And we got people from all over certain parts of the community who have certain skills or certain knowledge. We're getting them to find certain information that has to do with the flat Earth and other conspiracies, and we're gathering a database. Right.
I'm beginning. This is kind of like very espionage-y, isn't it? Infiltration and I'm not sure about that myself.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What I mean?
What do
Why are you
What do
unsure?
mean?
Not that we're going to
I-
use the
that-
conspiracies against the conspirators.
No, I didn't say that. I just said it sounds very kind of like espionage-y.
A bit of
Infiltration.
cloak and dagger, mate.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
all good.
it sounded interesting to me, but I'm just not sure that's my thing. But I'll be interested to see when you start producing content, though. Don't get me wrong. Very interested in that.
NASA black site. It's a bit weird.
Well, we could always bring up Boxcar. So
Where's Blue gone?
Boxcar
Blue's-
is
Blue is here just a minute ago.
Blue
Blue's
got
gone.
Blue got attacked.
no. Did we lose? Did we lose our monkey? Maybe Gladys took him for a ride.
Glaby's picking on you, Quasar.
Mm.
You want
Yeah.
me to time him out?
Nah. Let him have his fun.
All right, now I'm in the site.
Aren't we supposed to be talking about FDDA anyway?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got sidetracked.
Yeah. Well, where have we got to so far? Have we agreed on anything, or?
Well, we haven't got to the nominee. Obviously, we can't get to the nominees yet until we nut out the criteria of the type of person, like we were just saying, the conspiracy types or the flat earther people or the globy type people. I don't know. It's going to be hard to work out the criteria of what we're going to pick as the drongo. Like, is it because they said something silly or they do something silly or?
Well, I mean, I mean, even DFOTY is not that specific. It's just kind of whoever you think you kind of like. Each of the panel members nominated somebody that they thought that was basically fits being a DF.
Okay.
And obviously it's if you look at the list as well of people, it's kind of like people that are prominent flat earthers in the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them are flat earthers, because of course Steve McRae was never a flat earther, but he was still a DF in many people's opinions. That's why he came second. But what I'm saying is what you could do is to differentiate between that and DFOTY is to open it up to even globies if you wanted to. I mean, you don't have to, but just ones that have been a bit consistently a drongo.
Okay.
As a suggestion.
Yeah. All suggestions are taken in.
Yeah. So is it on a consistent basis or just one random stupidity thing?
Well, I wouldn't be that specific necessarily. You can just kind of if they, like, for instance, if somebody has said something that's really, really is stupid, really dumb, you'd have to obviously provide evidence of it and stuff like that in order to qualify that person as your nomination.
Well, that'd be the person that nominates them then to have that.
Yeah.
To have that.
Because what DFOTY did was they when the panel members put forward their nominations, they had to state why, and then then the rest of the panel either agreed or disagreed. Can't remember what the criteria is in terms of sort of like whether they all had to agree to let them on as a nomination or not. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
But you could put forward your nominations, and if the rest of the panel disagree, well, then they can be rejected, and you'd have to have a second nomination to put forward, maybe.
Well, I nominate Casual Spaceman for having a mouthful of food.
I'll nominate Davros for having a stupid avatar. There you go.
Hey, we my aliens alone.
Anyway, and what about that Peter bloke though? Oh shit, he's here. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Considering Casual just got Steve McRae and Kyle Curtis mixed up, I think.
I know, I got mixed up. It's Kyle. Yeah, Kyle Curtis.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, right. So
apologize. Part of the same story, but different sides of the coin, as it were.
Yeah, I don't know how well your career would go down if you started claiming the wrong rocket was being launched all the time.
Fair dues. Yeah, fair dues. Fair comment. I can't argue with that one.
So really, you can't do anything until the year drags on a bit, then, can you? Before you can start looking at nominees, or did everyone start doing this at the
Well,
start of the year?
I think
in
it
November, they
starts.
started in November.
Yeah, it starts when the last one finishes, Terry. Generally.
Okay.
So once
It's perpetual.
once the nominations finish for say 2009 and the voting is done, right?
Yeah.
Anything that happens during that voting period, obviously can't be voted on because they've already had the nominees done. So from that point, as soon as the nominations have been set in stone,
Mm-hmm.
anything that happens from that point onwards until the next voting period becomes fair game.
But one nominee might supersede another.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and that won't be a problem. We just scrub one and put the next one in.
Well, I think even if you started now and you actually got your votes done, say by the end of February, for instance, it doesn't really matter because you say it's for 2019. Okay, we're a little bit late, but you know what I mean, it doesn't really matter. You didn't have to, spread it out that much. If you are going to do it like, you could do one for a monthly one, or do one for the whole year, or both.
Well, I've suggested before, Terry. Like considering you're not going to be looking for necessarily just flat earthers, it's going to be somewhat of an open case to anyone that that makes a bit of a blue or a something that's a bit wrong.
Well, I'm thinking, for example, somebody named with the initial UR.
Yeah, well, this is where I'm going. You don't want, if you were to break it into 4 periods of time during a year, say quarterly, you'd still get 4 people in a year out of the way, but you'd only have to, you wouldn't necessarily have to look as hard because you wouldn't have to remember the small incidents. Everyone would have more of a chance of getting done as it would be.
Fair dinkum drongo over the quarter. Nah,
Yeah.
It doesn't really have much a ring to it, really.
Yeah, it's got to have a ring to it.
The quarterly Drongo Award.
Quarterly Drongo Award. Yeah, but then if you do yearly as well, that doesn't really fit. Then I suppose you could still do Drongo of the Year. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of appealing to me, but I don't know. I'm not sure myself.
Yeah, it's all these things we've got to work out. That's all. That's not. Don't have to get it all done in one go.
And I think, like you said, Terry, something very important would be to make sure not to take away from Red's award, because that's somewhat specific, and you don't want to be seen to be taking advantage of his award or anything along those lines. This would be something that may complement his awards.
Cypher says the Dropkick Award.
Dropkick Award.
Wow.
Is that Australian?
That's very Australian.
Would you say
that's very Australian. That's like that's AFL football type thing.
Because I've heard a couple of you guys say something. Oh, he's in dropkick. I've heard you say that a few times. Actually, that appeals more than Drongo, to be honest. Dropkick Award, quarterly Dropkick Award, yearly Dropkick Award. Yeah, it's got a ring to it.
Okay, I'll write that down.
Write it down.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Although this one's not too Australian, you could go the Strobe Award, but there is an explanation that goes with it.
Huh? The Strobe Light Award.
Okay.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
strobe light award. So a strobe light puts out inconstant,
Inconsistent.
inconsistent bursts of brilliance. So in other ways, you're saying that they're not too bright all of the time.
Oh, okay. Surf just threw another suggestion in. You'd do 4 awards, and then the last quarter would be between the first 3 winners.
The Dwarf Award.
No, I'd win that.
Sorry.
It'd be an ongoing. I'd just win.
But but the other criteria too. It's not just something they say. It can be something we can copy out of text or something they've put out. Yeah, but that could lead to Twitter then. We don't
either something on chat or anything on Discord or. But I mean, generally speaking, I mean, it's going to be somebody that is consistently a drop kicker or whatever you want to call it. Really, ideally, but it doesn't have to be.
The person has to be has to frequent the chats and the Discords to be able to
only from the point of view that they're going to recognise who they are. At least some people will.
It has to be a recognised person by a number of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I had a few people on Twitter asking me who Carl Curtis was.
Oh, okay, so.
But not everybody knows what the story is behind it. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't keep it as strict as that. I would keep it loose. But then again, the person that's going to be nominated needs to give a valid reason as to who was. Because if everybody else says, well, who the hell are they? Well, then they might say, well, the rest of the panel might disagree, and therefore, they're not nominated. You know what I mean?
Sorry, Peter.
No, it's right, Terry. I was just going to say, if you were going to use anything they were to say or do on social media, realistically, any of their quotes or whatever you're going to use as evidence to put them to forward their nomination, you'd have to put that quote in reference to what they were talking about, so that anyone can see how brilliant they were being at the time.
Yeah, but I don't want to focus on the content of what they say, as like say for the Kyle Curtis type scenario with Steve McRae stuff. But it's what actions they might have did afterwards or something, or may have said that's.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I wouldn't, because the trouble is, if you start writing the criteria as very specific, right, it ends up open to interpretation. So if you leave it open to interpretation, but then what happens is, like I was saying, was that when you put your nomination forward, like I said, you've got to give a good enough reason, and then the rest of the panel has to agree with it. If they don't, then it's out. So you've got to give a valid reason for it. I wouldn't necessarily have a very specific criteria. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let everybody let the rest of the panel decide. So you've got to come to the panel on nomination day, for instance. If you have a nomination day, is that you've got to have 2 nominations. So you have your first nomination and then your second preference nomination. So if the first one's rejected, then you've got to have a second one to put forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So because otherwise you're going to have a long list of rules. And it'll keep changing and keep changing and keep changing and keep changing. I think it just get messy. And the whole point of it is just a bit of fun, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Well, I just made up my own private channel over in Discords for that. I'll just name it the FDDA, and in that I'll put all these things in so we can work it out.
Can I just address what Astro Rex said as well? So he said Spurs Chemo was robbed. He says Spaz Chemo, which I think is ideal. Robbed, yeah, ninth place. I don't think it was good enough for him. He should at least maybe got 5th or 4th or something. I agree.
But when you script it and you say the same thing over and over and over again, it's not good. At least Riley had some variety.
Okay,
You mean
Mippet wants me to.
you mean
Okay, I'll copy what you said, Mippet, so that way I don't have to type it all out again.
you mean off the cuff, just wrong?
Yeah. Off the cuff wrongness about very many things.
Yeah.
So from the egg to the thesis to the we.
So if it's typed out in the side chat, I'm copy and pasting it. So we've got the Dropkick Awards, a weekly Wanker Award, then a monthly Dropkick Award between the weekly winners, then yearly the Fair Dinkum Drongo from monthly winners. So I'll put all this into the...
A weekly Wanker Award, then monthly Dropkick Award between the weekly winners, then yearly
I
Fair
know.
Dinkum Drongo from monthly winners.
Yeah, I know. That doesn't sound confusing, does it?
Could you include somebody that's on Twitter, like says stupid stuff all the time, like a flat earther on Twitter, but doesn't appear on YouTube? You could really, couldn't you?
Yeah,
Potentially.
But we've got to
got a
make
nomination.
sure they've got the potential of actually seeing Terry, or at least the stream, because it's no fun if we're making fun of them without them here.
Because I'll show you one example. I've been sort of like having to and throws with this guy. I don't know, for freaking months now, right? And I'll show you why. I'll share on the screen why. Hold on.
Milkman Dan said he hadn't seen the DFOTY award yet.
This is one of the reasons why, as you can see on the screen now. You can see that.
Okay, you must understand that light uses a term used to make you feel insignificant. Light doesn't live on forever and ever. It fades. If light lived on forever, then you'd never have nighttime, as light from the universe would constantly be shining in your face. Okay.
That's pretty stupid.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Do they understand photon interactions?
No,
So
he doesn't. Let me explain something about him. Right, he doesn't understand anything about anything. You understand what I mean? He just basically copies and pastes, I think, a lot of the time. And I every single post, right, I ask for evidence of what he claims, and he never provides anything ever in all the months that I've been having interactions with him.
What you're saying is you have a special kind of stupid that chases you around.
Well, I kind of chase him really because I feel it's my job. It's my job to make sure nobody takes him seriously.
Can I?
To be fair.
What's he called? Great Believer.
Great Believer. GR8 and then Believer. Yeah.
Okay.
He's unique, shall we say?
Unique or unique?
Yeah, either one or two.
Okay.
So yeah, if it came to nominations and if I was allowed on the panel, that would be my nomination, or at least one of my nominations.
Okay.
It's just that kind of example.
Well, if that's the case, I nominate Donald J. Trump.
No, well, you see, he's got it. You know, like, well, that gets a bit too messy, though, doesn't it? Because it's not related to what we're involved in.
He put out a tweet. And all it said in capitals was presidential harassment! Exclamation mark. It was brilliant.
Trouble, he's also an easy target, though, isn't he? Let's face it. You know, it's just
yeah. So it'd be no contest.
That list I've got. Where did I put it? That flat earther list. That might have to be
altered.
It can be altered, but it'll have to be. Where did I put it?
Do we have a flat earther in Australia that denies Australia's existence?
Oh, Ross. No, he doesn't.
There's Flat Earth Perth.
That would be classic.
That's the old list I've got floating around.
Flat Earth Perth, and there's another one. Mr. Sensible seems to be picking on him.
Scotty Storm still floating around.
Matt, I think his name is. I'll have a look. I'll let you know.
Vortex Puppy. I've never heard of him. Who's he?
Who's that new one? He only did it he only did it today.
Really?
Mr. Sensible, or was it yesterday? Might have been this morning. Mr. Sensible was picking on an Australian flat earther.
Okay.
It's like Wilson or something along those lines.
Mitchell from Oz.
Mitchell Wilson. That's kind of the same. Yeah, no, he's a very special lad.
Mitchell Wilson.
Yeah, no, it's Mitchell from Australia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Has
so I think
has he got a channel?
Yeah, that's his YouTube channel.
So I've got to find his channel now.
Would you like me to post the link into FairSup?
Okay. Well, looks like we've got 2 nominees already. Got Great Believer and Mitchell from Australia.
yeah.
That's 2 already.
Well,
Now,
well, I would do like a like the FOTY do like a nomination night where you put forward your case for each of your nominations, like your first preference.
Well, I think I think it sounds like we're doing a dry run by grabbing a few people.
All right. Okay. All right.
So we've got a Great Believer and we got this Mitchell from Australia.
What you could do, Terry, and just as a suggestion, because let's be honest, it would be nice if the nominations came from the people out in the community that found idiots. What a better way to get the word of idiots out there than from people that find them.
You're talking about the side chat type people.
Yeah, exactly. The people out in YouTube themselves, you could get them to either look. They've all got. Well, most of the people in there have got spanners, so you could either get them to drop a link directly in there, or send you an email, possibly.
How would you work the nominations for that? Because then you've obviously got to take a vote for it. Otherwise, you could end up with hundreds of nominations.
Yes, you could. However, from the nomination that the people out in YouTube send, for example, like I said before, send a nomination through the community page on the Ozzie Perspective. Then we can go through each night proceeding, looking at a multiple of these people back to back, so that they all get a free viewing, as it would be. Everyone gets to see.
And then make the nomination.
Then we could make the nominations after that, so that because some of these people that may be nominated may not necessarily get a lot of notice, this way everyone all gets a free, I don't know, standing, as it would be, to be nominated. And that way we could do the voting after the nomination going down that way.
How long would that process draw out for, though? Would that not have the potential to go for a long time?
Well, possibly.
Okay.
Possibly, and
like just an observation.
Yeah, and that would be all come back around to how long Terry would actually want the thing to go for. He may turn around and just say, the first 20 people to actually send me an email or send me a link through the community page on my YouTube, they will be the people that are nominated. So you only have 20 people, and let's be honest, we can 2 nights and we can watch 20 people.
Yeah. See where you're coming from. Might work.
So you could literally buy 3. Well, sorry. So within a week, you could do the nominations and have the voting happen.
The way we talk, I go on though.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we've got the Arwins, the Oakley, the Nathans, all the top runners, but we got to think of the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. Like, because I've never heard of this Mitchell from Australia. That's.
God,
I think
mind you, great believers scraping the bottom of the barrel as well. To be fair.
Well, that might be a better way of having it instead of just having all these main type of people all the time, because they're the ones that are always put in the limelight, so to speak.
Yeah.
Look for the people that are somewhat missing out on recognition.
Yeah. Because there could be a fair dinkum drongo out there, and we don't even know it.
It'd be horrible if a flat earther missed out on recognition, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Well, if that happens, that happens. You know what I mean? There's probably several other flat earthers that deserved at least a nomination for DFOTY but didn't get it. I suppose it's just the way it goes. But
Are we able to get any type of list of the ones that they were putting in for the DFTY thing at all? That wasn't written down anywhere?
The problem with the way DFOTY works, Terry, is the people that are on the panel nominate someone for themselves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you only have the members of the panel get to vote for someone. Where we could make it more of the public awards if you wanted to go down that way.
And then one of us could just represent.
It was the panel members that nominated, but it was the public that voted.
Yes, but then you're still limited to the ones that the panel members chose, aren't you?
Yeah, but that's the thing. I like your. Don't get me wrong. I love the idea of getting the community, the whole community involved, rather than just the panel. I like that, but I don't know. I'm just beginning to think it's going to get overcomplicated. You know what I mean? And a bit too drawn out. Especially if you are going to do a yearly one, and in which case then it's probably a bit too late for 2019, because this could probably take in a couple of months. Yeah, fair enough. You could probably get 10 through 10 in a night, 10 in a couple of nights or whatever. But you could potentially end up with hundreds.
Do you think
so hang on. Go, Quasar.
What
Quasar? Do you think
Quasar
that drongo is an appropriate word? Because it has a bit of a derogative connotation about it.
Does it? For example?
Well, what? And dumb fuck isn't.
Well, that's pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas you could find another word that could mean anybody, even if they're dumb or not, as in drongo.
Well, I mean, somebody mentioned. Okay, well, what does drop kick actually mean in Australia? What does that mean?
Arsehole, idiot,
loser.
So that's got multiple meanings then, rather than just.
But they're all derogatory.
Dumb. Yeah.
So a drop kick is a drongo.
Yeah, so it's going to be derogatory, whatever you call it, isn't it? Really, let's face it.
The Australian Prawn Awards.
Well, we could say fruitcake.
You silly man award.
No, I was just
silly person. I should say. Shouldn't say man, should I?
I was just saying maybe you want to stay away from something that's derogatory, like maybe the Australian Prawn Awards or something like that. It's just a thought.
Yeah, but the prawn thing I don't like, because we don't throw prawns on the barbie.
That's exactly why you use it.
Okay.
Oh, well, I didn't mean specifically prawn. I just was trying to stay away from something that's derogatory and could cause other issues.
Okay. Well, you can't say anything wrong with fair dinkum.
That means you're right.
Just put not in front of it and that'll be fine.
I don't know. It was just a thought.
Yeah. I didn't think Drongo had a okay.
Derogatory. Detrimental.
Wombat.
It's a cool. I don't know. It's just a thought.
Yeah.
Go on.
You're allowed to have a thought.
I didn't mean to silence everyone.
Now you got us thinking. Now you got me thinking of other words that might have this. Might have a problem. We might have a problem.
Well, I think
with.
maybe it might be a good idea just to stay away from derogatory
Well,
terms.
Terry.
Like the
I
Americans
looked
go
up.
dumb,
I looked up
F
the
and
meaning.
whatever. Yeah.
I looked up the meaning. The word drongo is used in Australian English as a mild form of insult, meaning idiot or stupid fellow.
Terry,
What?
the Aussie Battler Award.
No, that means all of us.
We're all Aussie battlers.
Mildly, mild being the operative word. It's mild. Is it not? No, Drongo. It's better than being called a
Yeah.
DF, surely.
It's like the word ignorant. It can come off in a bad way with some people, even though it just means you don't know.
The word comes from an Australian race horse of the same name, apparently after the spangled drongo, Dicurius brachytos or something, in the 1920s that never won despite many places. So that's the meaning of drongo as a literal the meaning of it. It doesn't say. If I find anything that means derogatory in any other way, well, it's only saying it's an idiot, or stupid fellow, as an insult. Yeah. I have to find a list of other words then and see what else we get. Now we're going to go back in circles looking for another
Yeah, I
name.
know. Yeah, but we've just got a sheeple turned up and he's got no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I
Chili
do.
beans and jandals.
Sorry, I'm late. I had to keep doing my job. Damn job getting in the way of YouTube.
damn that work ethic.
Yeah, damn that stuff.
Damn life in general getting in the way of YouTube. God,
Yeah,
shocking.
I reckon. How dare it?
I thought
No, we're just
I thought YouTube was life, and then life was.
everything else is
Terry,
worked out around it. Yeah,
Terry, you need to get out. You need to get out a bit more, Terry.
yeah. I might have to shut down my company if I treat it like that. Gotta have some discipline. I'm still looking for it, but yeah.
It's there somewhere.
It's there somewhere. It's right there. It's kind of like on the ladder somewhere, but I haven't begun to climb. But no, I believe that we have been told that the word drongo is derogatory, and therefore Quasar has not approved it with his infinite wisdom.
Well, no.
Thank you, my child.
No, drongo. It's got to be drongo. Because we could have
I don't really care. I was just.
we could have Drongo Unchained.
I mean, you can't avoid something derogatory. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you couldn't, like I said, you can't get any more directly derogatory than dumb fuck of the year. You know.
I thought.
You know what I mean?
I thought we wanted to stay away from that path.
Yes, that's why we use
so the
Drongo.
Idea of changing.
Yeah, but Drongo is still the same thing as.
Well, it's a mild insult, isn't it? It's not nearly
it's
as bad.
It's a mild-mannered insult.
But do they have to remain a drongo? That's the question.
Well, no, they don't have to be anything. It's just
are
what
they,
we think.
Yeah,
they
but
are
they stuck being a drongo,
or
are they acting like a drongo? You know what I mean?
It doesn't really matter. It's an award. It's just what we think they are.
Exactly. So they have
they're
the ability to not receive the award by not being a drongo.
Well, see, that goes with nearly all other words that we have as slang. Because we got wombat, which does the same thing.
I mean, Christ, I know you Australians amongst mates, you call everybody the see you next Tuesday word, don't you? And and you're still mates, So you couldn't get any more insulting than calling somebody that in reality for somebody you didn't know. If you called them somebody you didn't know that word, for me.
Yeah, but we don't call that word to people we don't know.
Yeah, just people you know, which is like a bit different.
It's like a terms of endearment.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't even call it a Bogon Award because anyone else that's not Australian, it wouldn't suit.
I'll tell you what, if you call in the UK here, if you called your friend that word, you wouldn't be a friend anymore. It's pretty that word's pretty very, very, very aggressive. A lot of people don't like it here in the UK. A lot of them don't.
But they use the C word quite liberally. It's amazing.
Yeah, in certain circles they do. Yeah, because it literally is a prime insult as for somebody, but they wouldn't call their mates that word. That's for sure.
I've got a name in the channel that I call Fair Sucker the Sow as well.
What about the monthly plunger?
Plunger.
I've never used the word plunger to express anything to anyone.
That's probably a Kiwi thing, is it?
We could go Darwin on them and go the double plugger.
The Darwin Award. Come on.
No. But so up in the territory they call them double pluggers, right? Because the third one's always failing. Because you know how they got the two plugs at the back and the one at the front on your flip flops, on your thongs.
You had me travelling down a bit different path there for a second.
Well, it looks like we're going to have to put a vote in first for the title. It seems that's what's going on. Everyone's saying for all the different titles that we're coming up with.
I still like Dropkick.
Yeah, Dropkick. Yeah. It shouldn't mean anything worse than what it is.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's probably even less so than Drongo, isn't it? Or is it?
I feel that a drop kick can't improve, but a Drongo can. I don't know.
So what's worse, a Drongo or a drop kick?
I would rather be called a Drongo than a drop kick.
Put your votes in now.
Can't either of them be permanent or temporary. Really? I don't know. You tell me. You got at least one Kiwi and the rest of you Australians. I don't know. I'm just a lot. I'm just a pom. What I know.
Yeah. You're a prisoner. You're a prisoner here. But
yeah, but you're a Kiwi.
Fair dinkum derp.
How Australian do you want it, Terry?
Well, I want it to be Australian because it's that way.
What are you doing?
Jug is talking.
So noisy. You make coffee. Holy shit. That's loud.
Yeah.
So there's this really good comedian that has a persona of a certain bloke with the surname of Coit.
Yes.
Oh, Russell.
Russell, yes.
So you could go the Russell Coit Award.
Yeah.
Because we know what Coit means, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, you
and
might.
You know what Russell means. You know what? Okay, so you
don't know what coitus interruptus means?
No.
That's okay, as long as we know, that's the main thing.
So and Russell, yeah. So it's an ass fart, basically.
Right. Okay.
Well, it's not meant to be for anyone else. It's like, this is our awards.
That's
true. It's Australian, yes.
Yeah, but I was just thinking maybe staying away from any derogative term.
Yeah, so
how are we going to have an award to find a drongo out there and we can't use a word that means what we're trying to... Okay.
Well, it could apply to anything, like flat earth, someone making the most outlandish story.
Or you want to call it the Buttercup Award?
Maybe. that would be more in terms of endearment, yeah, maybe. No.
No. No, you gotta have it derogatory. You know, at the end of the day, you can't avoid that. I'm
Or the least derogatory type word.
you know how least do you want to get?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Pixie Fairy Dust Award. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
What about-
taking it to extremes?
What about it? See, Drongo and Dropkick are talking about the person, but if you use a word like derp, then that's talking about what they
Yeah,
say.
but we didn't coin that phrase. It has to be an Australian coined term.
You have,
Yeah.
you
Or
can have
the
fair
or
dinkum
the
at the
or
front
the
of it. Fair dinkum, whatever.
or
That makes
the
it Australian.
we think you're a bit silly, but we don't want to be too derogatory award.
Quasar, I think they're picking on you.
Sorry, I'm not deliberately taking the piss, Quasar.
I don't
Well, I am.
care. I don't care. Far out. As long as I'm going to fly over there and punch him in the face. Jesus Christ.
Until next week.
Go for your life. I don't care.
I'm not taking. Well, whatever. Okay. Oh dear. Ah,
Well, that's why I thought it'd
Discussion is healthy, Terry.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It
true.
is healthy discussion.
yes, it is. Yeah. Yes,
Very
it is.
healthy. Flat Earth Fail Awards. No, Marty, it's not
Man, stay away from
flat
flat
Earth.
Earth. Jesus.
Not
That-
strictly flat Earth. Could be any
No.
conspirator or anything like that. Any conspiracy kind of thing.
Yeah, any Princess Buttercup douche nozzle. What?
If you're going to use Princess Buttercup, you've got to also put Snowflake in there as well.
Yeah.
Mm, okay.
It's just Buttercup do snowflake nozzle.
Yes.
I don't know where that one come from.
I
That's
don't
supposed
know
to be
either.
Dingo's Award, Marty.
Buttercup
Dingus.
nozzle. Dingus Award.
John Hawkins would have to.
What
use
about
it.
Dingbat?
You've seen what Sean Hawkins has
Yeah, I know, but I don't think Sean Hawkins sees what flavour I'm trying to give it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we'll have to sleep on that one again now. Twat waffles? What?
That was dipstick.
Twat
Miffit.
waffles.
Oh yeah,
Miffit said-
dipstick. Yeah, we use dipstick.
Dipstick. Dipstick
Yeah.
award.
Yeah, but
not
that's
too
that's
derogatory.
derogatory too.
Don't care.
That depends if you wipe before you put it back in, Terry.
Oh yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, but you don't have to wipe it every
Oh.
time you pull it out.
No, but if you go to put it back in, you got to wipe it on something. And just a word of warning: don't put it on the curtains because she gets
Oh,
upset.
you just stole it, baller. You're supposed to say, don't wipe on the curtains because she'll hit the roof.
Oh dear me. It isn't also dipping it as well, isn't that dependent on how hot she gets as well, isn't it? Oh dear, I'm sorry.
That's got nothing to do. You don't know anything about cars, do you?
I do a little bit, don't I? Aren't you supposed to? Am I not right in saying you're not supposed to check the oil while the engine's still hot? Isn't
Yeah,
it, or
but when you
something?
pull it out to check the oil, you don't have to wipe it to put it back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
You wanna know
the
the-
only thing I'll say to you, casual, is don't pull the tranny dipstick because they get upset.
Funniest thing I've heard.
But Peter, not all
from,
trannies have a dipstick.
yeah, funniest. Yeah, the AU series. No
Where are we going
dipstick
with
on the
this? For
tranny.
Christ's sake, what,
Any-
how are
anyway-
we getting to this?
Anyway, sorry. I just
I don't know.
want to
Somebody,
bring up
I
a
just said
Drongo.
dipstick.
Just want to bring up a Drongo comment, right? That oil cools the engine.
Oh yes, who said that? Who's that? He said that. I can't remember now. Who was that?
MG42 pillbox.
That's right. Yeah.
He reckons engine oil cools the engine. It's just
Yeah.
a lubricant. That's it. That's all it's there for.
What's Marty saying? Hearing Terry say, Dale saw twat waffle is hilarious. I never said twat waffle. What?
Oh God.
Just said it 3 times. Ah.
PC
Yeah,
police
PC
incoming.
Yeah. Yeah.
In MMA, there's a wrestling move called an oil check. Well,
I actually like twat waffle. Actually, I quite like that. It's an award twat waffle. Yeah, I quite like that. I've actually enjoyed. This is probably one of the best streams I've been on so far. Actually, it's quite entertaining.
haven't finished yet.
No,
Barely started.
yeah, no, I'm
We're
gonna have
only
to go.
just warming up.
I'm gonna have to go to bed shortly. It's nearly 4 o'clock in the morning here.
Oh, night shift. Yeah, it's nearly 4 o'clock.
So it's 7 minutes to the next stream starts.
Have I? Have I got another one coming up?
Mm-hmm.
What time did I put the other one at?
6
Better
minutes.
delay it by. You better delay it by an hour then.
6 minutes from now.
Oh no!
See,
Well,
yeah,
I mean, you know,
monthly
you've got some
plunger.
ideas.
See,
You've got some ideas, Terry. You can write them down. I suggest that you make
I've
a
wrote
decision,
them
Terry.
down. I've wrote it all down.
Yeah,
It's all written here.
I know you have. Yeah, I know you have. You've got some ideas written down. So, it's just I personally would make a decision yourself as to how it's all going to operate personally, because
Who
otherwise we
doesn't
can argue.
know?
We could argue about this for Kingdom Come.
Who doesn't know what the plunger means? What do you call a plunger in England?
Well, I only put the idea out there to see if it was possible in the
Well,
first place to do some sort of
I know what a plunger is in terms of what it is physically, but what's its connotation is what I'm asking.
To push the shit they say down the toilet. Flush that shit down.
Yeah.
No, it
Nothing.
doesn't mean that in Australia.
Plunger.
No, it doesn't mean that in the UK either. It's not a British thing.
What?
I've never heard anybody call anybody else a plunger at any time.
no, not here.
You get it for like being an idiot on like boats and stuff.
You make up your own weird words over there.
What the hell? What do you guys call it then? The thing that unblocks the toilet. A
Plunger.
Yeah, that's the physical thing. We all know that's a plunger. It's the connotation. I've never heard anybody call anybody a plunger at any time here in the UK.
Yeah, I hear.
No, you get it for being an idiot. You have to obviously because it goes in the toilet, so you have to wear it around your neck.
Sheeple, have you made this up yourself?
I don't know what he's.
Or is this a Kiwi thing?
That's
The pink plunger award was awarded in the series of Deadliest Catch when they made a mistake that they were meant to do something on the boat. They had to wear the plunger.
Oh yeah, now you come to mention it. Yes.
So the plunger goes
Where you
towards the
coming from?
shittiest thing, or the
Yeah,
what I mean?
I do remember Deadliest Cat. I did remember seeing that.
And they spray painted it pink because they had a whole bunch of pink spray paint.
Yeah. And they had a strap and they had to stick it to their head, didn't they? Like a strap around the chin. Yeah, now you come to mention it. I do remember now. Yeah. But I've never heard anybody being called. I've never heard anybody being called a plunger though, ever.
Yeah, wow.
Yes, Sean, I did have another stream scheduled. I forgot what time I set it for.
And the waterman.
Can't check that.
Oh shit.
Right, gentlemen, I'm really going to have to go. I'm afraid I really need to get some sleep.
Okay.
Have a good stream.
Dream
and
of
have
the
a good
award
second
name. All right.
Yeah.
Dream of the award name.
Hurry up
It
and
will
go
come
so
in-
we can talk about you while you're gone.
Yeah, Terry,
Yeah.
your next stream's supposed to start in 3 minutes.
Oh, but
Yeah,
before
no,
you
it
go,
was just
Casual, how do you feel about the UK owning the DFOTY for last year?
Oh, I'm so proud. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of Riley. He's done it for the Brits. I'm ecstatic.
You've taken it back. You've taken
So
it back.
he's planned in it backfired then because he was putting in his nomination thing. I was thinking he was doing that so
Yeah,
he wouldn't
well,
get
you know,
I think
nominated.
it strengthened his position.
I mean, I was actually campaigning for JM. Percy James Truth should have won it, but anyway, Riley's he's tried for 5 years and now he's won it.
Yeah,
Well done, Riley, if you're listening.
But that means
Riley,
he doesn't get nominated anymore.
That's right.
Oh, is he out then for any further nominations ever?
If you win, you don't.
We can't do it.
I can understand like 1 year maybe, but
Nah.
permanent.
And
He can still win this award that hasn't been yet named.
that was one of the biggest arguments why he shouldn't actually win, because he's come in second place so many years in a row. They just wanted him to potentially perpetually get second place for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Yes, because what's worse than being the best loser is being the loser to the best loser.
He won
Yeah,
by
exactly.
69 votes.
I know, it's close.
Something a bit suspect about that number.
Just beat Carl Curtis by 69 votes. Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
Right, anyway, really got to go. Good night, gents. Have a good stream, and I shall see you some point.
Right on.
See you
It's
later,
been fun,
casual.
actually.
All right,
Fun.
casual.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Take it easy.
Gotta go and take his computer to bed and tuck it in.
So what was wrong with it?
I didn't get the full story about it yet.
Okay.
Only from what we knew before, where he couldn't get the heat sink off the processor and couldn't get it running with the other processor. No, we'll get the story out of him. I'll find out.
Yeah.
Can't have been too difficult.
Refresh files.
Like I thought too, something to do with the BIOS or something. But
Yeah, his CMOS needed to be reset and then update the BIOS to be able to accept the new chip.
We didn't
yeah,
get
but
the
how do you do that without
he
a
Yeah,
didn't
but
get
they
he
couldn't
didn't get the
put the old
cooler
chip
off.
back in.
We
So
never
you have
got the cooler off.
No, he got the chip out, but he couldn't get the heatsink off
What?
the chip.
How did
He
you get the
He
just
took it,
seems
he took it
what?
all out in one go.
Yeah, I know, Quasar. I know you're gonna go ballistic.
What? No,
He,
Oh,
he managed to get the clip. He managed to get the clip to let go.
I reckon-
Don't tell it Quasar
reckon he must
anymore.
have
You'll bust a vein.
I reckon he must have bent a few pins for that to happen.
Yeah, he did. He bent 3.
Oh no. Far out. You can't like what the fuck? Oh sorry, I should have said that. Yeah, okay. Sorry, just had a meltdown for a sec there.
Yeah, it's okay,
Quasar.
Quasar. Just breathe, Quasar.
Yeah, just breathe. Go get a glass of wine, some crackers.
Well, we did warn him, and like, yeah, all right.
He knows. He likes to be independent. He wanted to do it himself. And
Quasar, just give me 3 how dare yous and call me in the morning.
Okay.
okay, so we're finishing up
I'm not-
this stream with
I'm not
the
Catholic.
the Fair
The
Dinkum
Fair Dinkum
Drongo
Drongo.
Award titled
Possibly being renamed in the future.
possibly being renamed or variation.
Why do you have
And
to be
well,
Catholic?
I'll finish up this stream and I'll get ready for the next show that I had planned. So
Yeah, all right then.
I'll catch you all in a minute.
See you later.
Bye.
Why do you have to be Catholic to